third-party, cheaper load cell pedals that work on your Fanatec equipment on PlayStation. There's a lot of words, but if you know about sim racing on Gran Turismo 7 basically, you'll know what I'm doing shouldn't really be possible, but as you can see with your own eyes, I am doing it. I am using the Fanatec GT Pro and the Porsche Vision GT wheel, but I'm also using these that look a bit like Huskenveld or whatever pedals. These are SimNet pedals. So SimNet sent me these pedals, but this is not a sponsored video. They haven't paid me anything. They don't even know I'm making this video. I've had them for a while actually, and I've just put them on, and basically I'm seeing, are they as good as my, let's be honest, beloved Fanatec V3 pedals? So Fanatec V3 pedals I used on GT Sport to race at very high level, like top split daily races, winning top split daily races on the Fanatec V3s, and I think they're extremely good load cell pedals. Like, I would still recommend them if you know how to maintain them and re-grease them and get the brake performance kit and change your elastomers. They're really good pedals. What about these ones? Now I've just basically thrown these on. Like, I haven't modified these in any way. I did a very quick calibration on PC. I haven't changed any of the elastometers. I haven't even put the haptics on because they come with haptics as well. I've just bolted them super quickly onto the cockpit here and connected them to my Fanatec GT base via a RJ44 something cable, and they just work. Firstly, it just works, and I can't sense any kind of delay. However, I do have some question marks about the performance, and this race basically is to test the performance because I know how to drive Monza, I know my braking points, I know how to be quick about here, and I know that I want to be really aggressive on the brakes, I want to be really fast but smooth off the brakes. And you can see there it does drop off quite quickly. It's an interesting load cell with what I've got at the moment because it's quite detailed and precise when you're applying a lot of pressure. Right at the end of the pressure range, you can modulate it to very fine details, but it also feels there's quite a lot of a drop off. And with my Fanatec V3s, I would try and use the elastomers in a way that I'd have really good pressure kind of like control all the way through the elastometer. By the way, this is not something that happens these days with hydraulic pedals or active pedals. Hydraulic pedals and active pedals are just better than like a standard load cell setup. Like, I think that's pretty objective. I've been really impressed with the Conspit CPP Evo pedals. Like, they are just, I still think about those pedals. Like, that was so good to use. And obviously the SimCube active pedals. Mo's are active pedals as well, but I think the SimCube is better. However, we're in the load cell range here. We're in the load cell price range as well. I'll put a link to the current price on screen because there's been all sorts of tariff stuff, but they're not bank breakers, essentially. Cut the corner here. Oh, nice. And let's try and do a quick lap, and then I'll show you the calibration. I'll show you the settings as well. But let's try and do a quick lap here as we go into Parabolica, a little bit compromised. So I'm going to try and get in the ridging here. Probably on the power. Oh my god, it slipped a bit. So my throttle slipped. That's my bad because I've been very lackadaisical in screwing it in. I don't find the Fanatec Transport cockpit the easiest to screw pedals in the bottom because it has another tray underneath that is meant to hold your power brick, and I just wish it didn't have that tray, but I suspect it has that tray because they want to add the rigidity. But I'm used to using stuff like either the GT Omega pedal plates, of which I've tried all of them, or just 80/20 aluminium. I've got a rig like that behind. But anyway, so my pedal's moving around a little bit, my throttle pedal, but it's really the brake I'm interested in. So let's see what happens here as we go into second chicane. As it stands, the brake pedal is clearly absolutely fine. Like, it's working like a load cell. That's all right. It looked like I came in quite hot there, but actually I don't think I was hot. And again, I think I've got really good modulation at the top, so just if I want to roll it in a little bit more, if you're an intermediate or advanced sim racer, you'll know what I'm talking about right now. Like, if I want to roll it into the braking zone, or if I'm like, oh, hang on, I'm coming in pretty hot here, I want to really leave the trail braking to as late as possible, I'm able to do that at the top end. What is more difficult, I'm finding, is like just that the speed at which you come off the brake impacts how much rotation you get and how the car's unloaded. And here it feels quite quick coming off at the bottom end, although I was able to modulate it there actually when I was looking at it. Oh, I love that line. That is just an obscene line. That should be illegal, that line. Tell you what, let's try and go for the win here, and I'll show you what the pedals are actually doing in the calibration. But as you can see, fundamentally it works. How this is allowed, I'm not sure. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, they've taken me out as pun. Oh, goodness me. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's an absolutely horrendous incident. Okay, so 2 things I've noticed as I've been trying. I think everyone's been involved in that crash. 2 things I've noticed. Firstly, if I put the handbrake on, but I'm not sure what it's mapped to here. Okay, so there's quite a bit of range at the top here when I come off in real life. That's not reflected. That is almost certainly a calibration issue that I need to fix in SimNet in the software on the PC. So that is down to me. I wouldn't say that's an issue, but you can see that I haven't calibrated it that well. I've left way too much of a dead zone at the top. But we'll get into that in GT settings. At the bottom end, I'm pretty happy with that dead zone. And you can see, obviously, it's quite smooth. There's no flickering. There's no kind of ghosting at the bottom. That's pretty good. And then on the brake, that's a very strong load cell for me. And obviously, you know, the Moser active pedal is like 200 kg or something. The SimUK active pedal is like 175 kg or something like that as well. So, you know, this is a pretty good load cell in terms of the strength. And then it's just here I felt I couldn't modulate it, but I think actually it might be the way I've mounted it and the angle actually of the pedals. Like, I think if I had better angle and a faceplate, I think I'd be able to do a better job there. But you can see that's a really nice load cell. Like, you could just come in and like, I want to hit that pressure. I want to hit that pressure. I'm going to close my eyes. I've never done this before, like as a test. Okay, are we ready? As proof. That pressure. That pressure. That pressure. Was that all around the same pressure? I hope so. You'll let me know. Right, let's go into the settings here. Because if you don't know this, after this video, go to www.getfasteronline.com because I explain all of this in my beginner masterclass. But there is a settings menu here, the secret settings menu, and we can see the accelerator and the brake and actually the percentages, and we have a calibration. So you can see the maximum there. So I can't really calibrate my way out of that in GT7. I'll need to, in the PC software, just make sure I move that 100% over. But you can see that's working as intended. And then the brake, I'd actually put it short because it's really hard. So when I was doing it on the PC, I'd just done leg day clearly, but I had it before about like 79% there. But anyway, that's the calibration. I can cancel it anyway. And you can see I've got really nice travel through the range. So these are super interesting. I don't know if you can class these as like AliExpress pedals or whatnot. Big thanks to SimNet for sending them out. They literally just sent them to my studio. And I am actually impressed. The fact that you have this option on PlayStation is pretty incredible. I know it works with the Fanatec. Be very interested if they can get these working with like Logitech through their hub thing, THRUSTMASTER. I mean, these could be absolutely killer for THRUSTMASTER because pairing this with the THRUSTMASTER T598, ooh, that's exciting. And also, I would rather, this is going to be controversial, so let me know what you think in the comments. I would rather run a Logitech G923 and these SimNet pedals as opposed to a Moser R5 and SRP pedals. I'll leave you with that. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.